Okay, let's just get right into it. After 4 long years away from mandatory military service, the biggest group on the planet, yeah, they're finally back. So in this explainer, we're diving deep into the absolutely historic comeback of global superstars BTS. And wow, here they are. Just look at them. All 7 members finally reunited. From hashtags that literally broke the internet to fan-organized listening parties in every single time zone, it feels like the whole world has been holding its breath for this exact moment. The anticipation, it's been absolutely electric.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that 4-year wait. Then we'll get into the new album, ARIRANG, and its sound. After that, we'll cover how the world reacted, and finally, we'll look at what this next chapter is all about.
Okay, first up, the 4-year wait is over. Let's really set the stage for just how massive this return is.
So let's put this into perspective. Their last group activity was way back in 2022. Then from 2023 all the way through 2025, every single member fulfilled their mandatory military service in South Korea. And that brings us here, to March 2026, the official full group comeback. You have to understand, a 4-year gap in the pop world, that's basically an eternity. It's a risk that, honestly, most groups would never ever take. But for BTS, it seems like it only made the fire burn brighter.
Now, let's get to the heart of it all. ARIRANG, the new album. We're gonna deconstruct this thing.
And that name, ARIRANG, it is so significant. Now, if you're not familiar with it, ARIRANG is this legendary Korean folk song. It's all about longing, separation, and that beautiful final reunion. Themes that are just woven into the very fabric of Korean culture. So by choosing this title, BTS isn't just telling their own story of coming back to each other and their fans. No, they're doing something bigger. They're boldly putting their cultural identity front and center on the world stage.
So, what does this album actually sound like? Well, it's this incredible, really ambitious mix. Critics right away pointed out the rebellious rap and hip-hop that totally feels like a throwback to the early Dark and Wild days. But then you've also got this moody modern trap pop, that darker atmospheric fusion of hip-hop and pop, plus these massive EDM anthems just built for stadiums. And get this, they are not afraid to get weird. Critics were all over the avant-garde and experimental stuff, and it's all balanced out by these super introspective ballads about ego and growth. It's a huge statement, right? Even at the very top of their game, they refuse to play it safe.
Let's talk about some of the standout tracks. First, the lead single, Swim. It's this really cool, sultry song all about perseverance. Then bam, you get hit with an opener like Body to Body, which just brilliantly mashes up traditional folk chants with high-energy EDM. Then there's FYA, a totally revved up, bass-heavy banger that everyone is saying is going to be an absolute monster at their live shows. And you have to hear Like Animals, this playful, kind of carnal track that just radiates a whole new level of confidence. I mean, talk about range. It's incredible.
Okay, so the album's out, it's ambitious as hell, but what did the world think? Let's talk about the reaction.
Well, the critics, they fell for it hard. The acclaim was pretty much immediate and just everywhere. Rolling Stone called it K-pop perfection, and they made a point to praise how it has both this incredible sound and real deep meaning. So yeah, this wasn't just seen as a comeback, it was hailed as a powerful artistic return to form.
And what about the fans? For the most part, it has been a massive celebration, a grand homecoming. The ARMY has really championed the album's maturity, its experimental sound, and I love this one description I saw from a fan. They called it music you chew rather than just swallow. What a great line, right? But it's also important to be real here. There were some divided opinions. If you looked on forums like Reddit, you'd see a minority of fans who were a little disappointed. Maybe they missed the glossier pop hits, or maybe some lyrics didn't land right for them. It just goes to show, this is a complex album, and it definitely sparked a ton of passionate debate.
But look, no matter what the online debates were, the commercial numbers, they're just staggering. You ready for this? Almost 4 million copies sold on day one. Just let that sink in. That is an absolutely dominant, no questions asked return to the top of the industry.
And this dominance wasn't just in the sales charts, you could literally see it on the streets. I mean, cities like Seoul were completely transformed, just taken over by comeback celebrations. It's a really powerful visual reminder of the incredible dedication and, frankly, the global organizing power of their fan base, the ARMY.
Of course, with a comeback this huge, the spotlight is brighter than ever. And you know what that means? There's always going to be some chatter. So, let's get into it. What about the gossip?
Honestly, the gossip has been surprisingly light.
Sure, there's been some minor dating speculation, that's always there, and a little bit of talk about their intense schedule, especially after the documentary. But here's the crucial part. None of it, absolutely none of it, has managed to slow down the comeback's momentum. The focus has really truly stayed on the music and their return, as it should.
All right, so the album is a certified smash. It's a hit. So what's next? Let's talk about what this next chapter is going to look like. A new tour, a new documentary, a whole new era.
Yeah, this comeback isn't just a one-and-done event. It is a full-blown era. So, step one was the album release. Check. What's next? A colossal 82-date world tour that's going to take them through 2027. We're talking stadiums across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. And on top of all that, there's a Netflix documentary, BTS The Return, giving us a behind-the-scenes look at this whole thing. So make no mistake, they aren't just back. They're planning to be absolutely everywhere. So here's the bottom line. They're back. They've reclaimed their throne without missing a single beat. And that leaves us with one final, massive question. As they head into their second decade as a group, with an album that so boldly plants a flag for their Korean identity, can BTS once again redefine the very limits of what a global pop group can be, what they can achieve, what they can represent? Honestly, based on ARIRANG, it feels like they're already doing it.